We are live now. We'll check. Welcome to HealthierLife.tv. And let me just play with this camera a bit. My name is Paul Bursey, and my co-presenter.
Cohort.
Would you like to introduce yourself, Warren?
Oh, okay, sorry, yeah, I got distracted there.
And
everybody, Warren Connolly here. How are you doing, folks?
Well, hopefully they're doing fantastic. If they do too fantastic, they won't want to work with us.
No, but that's great if they come to our videos and then they end up doing fantastically well.
Yeah, I know. I'm only joking.
That's the ideal part, right?
Yeah.
Ideal scenario, as long as we know about it.
Absolutely. Anyway, HealthierLife.tv wants to inspire people of all ages to live a life of complete health through education and information. We cover all aspects of health, wellness, sports, and fitness. So, been a few weeks since we've done any sport and fitness, but but we'll get there. We will get back to there. So,
quite a lot to begin with.
So, how's your week gone with your training?
My training has been very good, thank you. I switched it up a little bit. Feeling very strong this week. Feeling very powerful.
Great. Well, yes, that's doing this type of stuff does help. There's no doubt about it. Right. So today's subject is intermittent fasting, which I think I mentioned on the call last week, and unfortunately, due to a lack of communication between me and Warren, he didn't know it was intermittent fasting. So that is, I have to hold my hands up and say that's totally my fault. Anyway, I do know that Warren does know quite a bit about intermittent fasting. So, and the headline is Intermittent Fasting, the Science and How It Helps the Body, or what it does to the body. So, so Warren, what is your experience of intermittent fasting?
None whatsoever.
He's dropping me in it now. It is. I mean, it's one of the world's most popular health and fitness trends.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd better cover it, and there's people are really worried now that we don't know anything.
So,
I mean, people are used to using it. What I've heard it come up is about losing weight, but it's also about improving the health, and also it helps simplify your lifestyle, or you, the public.
Yeah.
So I did try it for a day. Now don't laugh. I wasn't ready to do it, but I did it for a day. What I found, there was 3 different ways of doing it, and I picked one of the ways, and I've got to say it was one of the most comfortable things I've ever done. So I will be doing it again. So I will come back and report my findings, how it affected me, how it didn't affect me, and so look forward to that one.
So do I, because this is what I say to people when they ask me about intermittent fasting. They ask, like, will it work? Does it work? So I said, look, I always say to people, it may work for you, it may not work for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So
doesn't work for everyone.
Yeah, each individual is unique, and so you can't. Again, it cannot be a one size fits all.
Yeah. But not anything we talk about here. You've still got to have a balanced diet. You've still got to eat the right things. You've still got to have a healthy, nutrient-rich diet. And
even more importantly,
maybe cut back on some of the things that maybe are not good for you. But as what I do, that I can only go by my life, is that I will go back towards them a little bit. So, such as candy,
Snickers bars,
Snickers bars, or maybe peanut butter. Oh, I know, but I don't want to talk about peanut butter because I used to eat it not eat it all the time, but I did enjoy it. So
I'll tell you. You talk about we go to a package free shop close by here to buy our nuts and seeds and that from them, and then we get freshly ground peanut butter from them. So you put the peanuts into the machine, and it comes out exactly the same, but in a buttery form, like peanut butter. And
all right, so it's a more natural,
pure peanuts, nothing else.
Oh, great! That sounds good.
Yeah, but it tastes so delicious.
So you said it was package free.
Yeah, so the place is package free. So you take your own glass jars or things like that, and then you scoop and you weigh it.
I'm turning up on my hands and then giving me this peanut goo, on my hands. So. Anyway,
so, peanut butter, back to fasting.
Many studies show that intermittent fasting can be very powerful and have powerful effects on not only your body but your brain, and it may even help you live longer.
Yes.
Okay? So very important, and we'll talk about when doctors would come into it, because we always say that you should always be guided by a health professional. And but first of all, let's get into what is intermittent fasting. In your words, Warren, if you want to, how would you describe it?
Well, it's intermittent fasting in my words is literally abstaining from eating food of any kind in certain set criterial periods of time. So in other words, certain breaks of time where you are eating and you're not eating, and it could be frequent or infrequent. So as it says, intermittent fasting, you're not fasting continuously for extended periods of time, but you are really, you're abstaining from eating food for a predetermined time frame. Also depending on what your goals are as well, because you have the different types will elicit different results.
Yeah,
I find.
Yeah,
through experience.
I mean, on my research, I had the definition down as it's an eating pattern that cycles between periods of fasting and periods of eating. So it's actually quite simple. The theory is quite simple,
You ask, but no. Also, again, you ask people what is fasting, and most people don't know what fasting is.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know. They think fasting means no water, no nothing. That's what most people think in their heads.
Yeah, but those actually religious people who follow fasting. You've got Judaism. You have Islam. I think it's Hinduism. I'm not sure.
Yom Kippur for Judaism. Yom Kippur they fast. In the Muslim world, it's for Ramadan.
Right.
They fast for a month, Ramadan, and then some Hindi traditions as well. They fast as well. Even the Christian I
was going to say even the Christian faith does fasting as well. So it's not as if it's something new, but we go through these. We do go through these phases where someone suggests a diet. Now, from what I've seen of this, I actually think it's pretty good.
Good question, Rosie. Rosie asked, when fasting, what drink is acceptable? Caffeinated coffee?
Can I come back to that in a minute?
Sure.
Because I've got, obviously I've got it in sort of logical sequence, and but we will answer the question, I promise you. So
the poor old folks, he needs to keep to the script, otherwise he gets confused.
Well, it's just like headings, you want to cover everything. So
you don't want to miss anything. So Rosie, you need to hang in there. You'll get the answer.
Hang in there. Changing the subject slightly. I know we shouldn't, but there was a picture in Facebook the other day of habit forming. Habits. In London and lots of other cities around the world, when people go to work, they go on a train and they hold the hand thing on the thing.
The handrail, yeah.
So a picture of a man in his bathroom holding the rail of the shower, to say, well, I've got to keep in practice or something similar. It's hilarious. You know, I went, no, that's not for me. So yeah, now intermittent fasting doesn't actually specify which foods you should eat. Okay, so that's another side to it. You know, that's the healthy side to it, if you want. So, do you know how long it is before it really benefits you on a daily basis? You know,
18 hours.
Okay.
18 hours. That's when the body really kicks in.
Yeah. So I think someone suggested it starts between 12 and 18. I think that's all different things.
Again, 12 is like, it's more of a comfortable way for people to fast, to be honest with you, more than anything else. I've tried the 12-hour, I've done 16 hours, and I've done 18 hours. And at 18 hours, you really feel the benefit. You really feel it significantly.
See, but also the great thing is 8 of those hours could be sleeping.
Well, they are. I mean, that's the whole. Yeah.
So it's not as bad. It's not as bad as you think it is. You know?
Exactly.
We all go through that phase, don't we? Where you're thinking, well, do you know what? I'm not going to eat this morning, or whatever it is, you know. And until you get those little pangs.
Yeah.
Now, actually, those pangs don't last very long. You know, so that's more good news.
Glass of water. All it takes is a glass of water.
Yeah, which is what you've spoken about several times before. So, yeah. So, and it also doesn't tell you. Not only does it say not to say what food you should eat, but it doesn't tell you when to eat them either. Within reason. I mean,
look,
they'll give you a time frame so that you know.
Yeah, time frame. So you'll have like for example a 6-hour window in which you can eat, especially if you fast.
That's what I mean. So they don't tell you exactly when you're going to eat. You haven't got to say I've got to hang on till 6 o'clock. You know.
So you can choose what your split is going to look like. You know, you could start eating at say 2 o'clock in the afternoon or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That's entirely up to you.
Yeah.
I tried to make it as. Me personally, I used to try to make it as close to the time I've woken up as possible. So it's minimize the amount of time during the day that I'm fasting.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I want to go beyond lunchtime. I want to make sure I'm going beyond lunchtime to end my fast.
Yeah. Well, one of them, I think one of the things was suggesting you eat between 1 and 9. That's okay. Yeah. And it goes against a little bit of what I was used to, so not eating after 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing, because with fasting, and like something that you touched on, is, you know, from time to time you don't have breakfast in the morning. You feel like you don't want to eat breakfast, and often some very, very busy people, they don't eat breakfast at all.
No, I get that.
Yeah. But however, what is it that they're eating the night before that's helping to fuel their system for the morning that they're not eating? And very often it's not efficient. It's not efficient food. It's not nutrient dense food that they're eating the night before, which is helping to fuel the body for that fasting period, because they're not thinking about it as a fast. They're just thinking, I don't want to eat. I don't have time to eat, or whatever. I don't feel hungry, so they don't eat. But with fasting, it's essential that, like, when you fast, you have your last meal, that is. You could have something smaller afterwards. Let's say 9 o'clock at night. You could have, like, say, a grapefruit or some nuts or something to that effect. Doesn't have to be a meal, all right? But you could have that as your last intake of food before you fast. But what is your last meal going to look like? So this is the key. So you want your last meal. This is one of the things that many people in fasting don't get. Is I tell people it's okay to have rice or potatoes at nighttime when you're fasting, because you're fueling your system up for the next day while you're fasting. So your body's going to be burning that food efficiently enough, as long as it's not too soon before bed. You know, if you're having rice or potatoes too soon before bed, your body's going to struggle to digest all that food. But if you're having it as your last meal per se, you know, then that's fine, because now you're just fueling the system up for the next day, and then you have that energy to take you through those 18 hours of fasting, or 16 hours of fasting, or for the cheaters, 12 hours of fasting.
I think actually my personal one would be, if and when I do it, would be something like eating midday, having my breakfast at midday.
Yeah.
And then eating probably again about 7-ish.
No.
No?
No. You don't. You want to pack. The thing is, look at it like this here. If you know the Khoisan people, or the Bushmen of South Africa and Botswana and that.
No.
So
but I do know now.
So the Khoisan, or the Bushmen, those are the people that you see, that they're the nomadic Stone Age type people that still exist today in South Africa and Botswana and parts of Namibia, and they're nomadic. They move around, and the primary food source that they eat is meat and roots. Okay, so, and berries and things like that. So they don't eat very often, and sometimes they go for days without eating. And then when they do eat, they literally gourmandize themselves. They literally stuff the food down their stomach because they're eating so much, and they can't keep anything, especially fresh meat in it. They can't keep that. So they eat it all. And then you notice they have this distended stomach, and then they go through for days without eating. So what their body is doing is it's storing all that food as energy, much like a camel stores fat in its hump. Okay, as a source of energy. The same thing with people. We would do that, and if you eating at, say, 12 o'clock, and then you only eat at 7 o'clock at night, and you've been fasting in between that, your body's going to start to be conditioned to hold on to that source of food as a source of fuel, because it doesn't know when it's going to get food again. So it kind of goes into that starvation type mode, where when you do eat, now that body just sucks everything in and holds onto it as a source of energy, rather than using that source of energy as fuel for your body and in the moment. You know what I mean? Okay. So you're absorbing all the nutrients and that. Otherwise, what happens is the body just absorbs all that, and a lot of that turns to fat because it's unused energy, and your metabolism will slow down. Your metabolism is not going to pick up. And the whole point of fasting, one of the reasons, is to increase your metabolism.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So you need to still eat infrequently throughout that window that you're eating. Not just 1 or 2 meals. You need to still be having little bites here and there, so that you're constantly keeping that energy source going, that fuel source moving and flushing through the body.
I mean, I actually prefer what you just said, right? But there are, I mean, the research I did, well, some of them are quite vociferous about not snacking.
Well, snacking is different.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, snacking is different.
So this could be quite confusing to someone. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Of course. So if I break my fast at 12 o'clock, and let's say I've got a 6-hour window in which to eat, 12 to 6. So I break my fast at 12 o'clock. Now, the first food I'm going to eat, it shouldn't be a heavy meal. It really shouldn't. Okay, because my body hasn't eaten for 18 hours. So it's going to take time for my body to adapt to the food and let my digestive system work more comfortably than a heavy meal, which is going to make me tired. Okay, because my digestive system is going to be overworked. So I have a lighter meal, maybe like a protein with some salad or something, or vegetables or something like that. Okay, I skip the carbohydrates. A couple of hours later, or an hour and a half later, I might then have those carbohydrates. You understand? But it doesn't have to be a big meal. It's going to be a small portion. So it could be some rice with something, or potatoes or something, but light, not heavy. But I'm having my carbohydrates apart from my protein and my vegetables in it, because I've allowed my body. Now I'm allowing my body to digest everything properly, so it's not working too hard. So that when I'm fasting, I get hungry, because I don't want my digestive system working when I'm fasting.
No, absolutely not.
I want to make it as comfortable as possible when I am eating, to digest the right foods at the right time, at the right speed. So then I have another meal later again, in another 2 hours after that, and now I've almost covered up my 6-hour window of eating.
Yeah.
And I have something small.
Okay. So give me an example of a day. That might be helpful. Well, let's say, okay, so you wake up as normal in the morning. I don't know what time you would get up.
6 o'clock in the morning.
6 o'clock. Okay, let's say we get up 6, and you're gonna eat between what window of time?
I would eat between 3 to 9. So I'd have a 6-hour window between 3 to 9.
Right. Okay.
Now
You've got your first meal at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
What would you have? What would you think the type of thing you would have?
I would have had either eggs with vegetables or salad or some sort of protein. But when I did that 18-hour fasting window, I was eating more meat then than I do now. So I would have had some chicken or fish or something like that with that vegetables and salad, or eggs with vegetables and salad. Then, in approximately an hour and a half later, thereabouts, I might even have some fruit in between, but I would have maybe some fruit about an hour later to help with the digestion. And then not long after that, I would have another meal, but like a meal with some potatoes or rice and so forth. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I used to have my breakfast in the evening. Get this.
Okay. Yeah.
So my breakfast is typically raw oats with like nowadays I have either chocolate balls, because Laura has them, they taste really nice, or these like gluten-free chocolate balls, like cocoa balls, gluten-free cocoa balls, like that, with raw oats, nuts, seeds, and some either frozen berries or bananas, and some, a little bit of mixed with some oat milk, and I'd have that at nighttime, because that's loading up my body full of fuel and energy for the night while I'm fasting. It's not heavy to digest.
It sounds like a complete turnaround, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And why not? Because at the end of the day, that is full of carbohydrates, but it's quality carbohydrates. It's oats. It's quality source of nutrients. And I'm having with that with nuts and seeds and fruit. And then I allow that to fuel my body up throughout the course of the night. So I've had my fruit as well. I've had 2 servings of fruit, and I've had like basically 2-3 meals, depending.
Okay. Yeah.
So because after fasting is protein only being eaten, then a little while later within the window is protein and carbohydrate. Is this a type of keto fasting? Not really. To answer Rosie's question, not really, not really, Rosie. Sorry about that. Not necessarily. That's just my choice. So, but also at the end of the day, I'm trying to be cognizant of how I'm allowing my body to optimize the fuel that's been taken in. Because at the end of the day, if I'm going to sacrifice eating for 18 hours, I want to make sure what I am eating is right. I don't want to just be sucking my tongue. Okay. You're sacrificing 18 hours of eating. So why not make sure that when you do eat, you at least eat properly? So this is keto typically would probably be one of the better ways to eat in a fasting environment, where it's higher sources of fat, minimal protein, relative quantities of carbohydrates, and that can be from vegetable salads and your simple carbs like your potatoes, oats, rice, these kind of things. Yeah. So not too much bread, obviously, because bread doesn't really have much nutrient density to it. Just fills you up.
Yeah.
But then this is pretty much what I would typically eat in a fasting environment, because now also with eating more quality fat, my body's adapting to using fat for the right fuel sources. You understand? So my body's more likely to burn fat more efficiently as a result of that.
Okay.
Makes sense. I trust it did.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, right now, Rosie asked us a question earlier. Can I drink liquids during the fast? And the answer is absolutely yes. So the suggestion I found when I was doing my research was water, obviously, coffee and tea, and other sort of the beverages that have little calorific value. And they're all fine. But the one thing they said about being careful about was adding sugar to the coffee. So that's an interesting one. So, and I also said that coffee.
You should add sugar to your. Sorry, Paul, but you should add. They're saying you should add sugar to your coffee or not?
No, do not add sugar to your coffee.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah.
But I did say that small amounts of milk and cream were okay.
Okay.
So again, you can then choose what type of milk you have. You know, whether you have a coconut milk or an oat milk or something like that. Yeah. But also, they said it can be beneficial. Coffee, that is, because it can blunt hunger. That was the
So, and it's a diuretic, and coffee's a diuretic as well. So if you have it, you don't just drink caffeinated tea and coffee all day long. Yeah, to pang your hunger, to quell your hunger pangs. Yeah, you don't want to be doing that. But
no, I think 1 cup of tea, 1 cup of coffee. I mean, you know, depending on how you do it.
And also, Rosie, to answer, just to add to that answer that Paul gave, he has a great tip for you as well, and anybody else that's listening to this. When you wake up in the morning, the first thing that you could have, and try this, to drink, is a warm cup, not hot, a warm cup of freshly squeezed or fresh lemon juice that you get 100% lemon and apple cider vinegar. A tablespoon of apple cider vinegar and enough lemon juice that you would get from a freshly squeezed lemon in warm water, and you drink that. Because what that's going to do, that's going to alkaline your system from the night before while you're sleeping, and you've digested some food in your stomach and things like that. It's going to alkaline the system. And with a more alkaline-based system, it's easier to sustain that fast as opposed to an acidic-based system. Okay?
There is an added bit to that, though, and that is don't put sugar in it, because that will negate everything.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And this is why you shouldn't put sugar in it.
Again, so it'd be difficult for me because obviously I don't use a lot of sugar now, but that's one of the times I would use it normally. So I would have to grin and bear it.
Well, you can try this then, Paul. Try this.
Go on then.
Have you heard of the bulletproof coffee?
Yes. Never had it, but I've heard of it, yeah.
Try a bulletproof coffee where you're having coffee with coconut oil. Okay. And what was I missed it. I can't think of the third ingredient. Even if you just have coffee with coconut oil, there's a third ingredient. I can't remember what it is.
Well, I'm sure they'll let us know if you
MCT oil. Yeah, MCT oil.
Okay. What is MCT oil?
Oh man, I've gone blank.
No, it's okay. I just wondered, if you don't.
Medium chain triglycerides. It's a medium.
Right. Okay. So it's good for the sugar, the lack of sugar spikes. Then that's good.
Yeah, you're fueling your system with fat while you're drinking caffeine, and it's quality fat.
Yeah.
So that's something that you could add to your coffee, and then even if it's just coconut oil, doesn't have to have the MCT necessarily, but that would be the added benefit to it.
There's another question that someone asked me: isn't it unhealthy to skip breakfast?
Well, if this is what I was talking about earlier. If you're not specifically fasting and you're just eating whatever the night before, and your day looks like a BMX track graph, then yes. But if you're specifically fasting, then no, it doesn't matter if you skip your breakfast.
That was the answer. The answer is no. You're correct. And it doesn't, as long as you're eating healthy food for the rest of the day.
Yes.
Then the actual practice of doing that is perfectly healthy. So, but again, for a lot of people, especially in the UK, we were taught that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Get a meal inside you, and to be fair, I've done that all my life, every day.
But you were also taught that egg yolk is bad for you.
No. Well, no. I've only a little bit. I only saw a little bit about heart healthy eggs once, but I just went, well, I like eggs. So, I will have a 3-egg omelette or something like that.
I mean, in the 50s and 60s, doctors used to tell people all the time, don't eat eggs, don't eat egg yolk, don't eat egg yolk. It's bad for your heart. It's bad for your heart.
It's rubbish.
Exactly. And this is the whole thing about breakfast. Some people cannot eat breakfast. They just can't. And that's how their bodies function. Their bodies operate that way.
Another question. Can I take supplements while fasting?
Oh, okay. That's a good question too. Now, it depends on what supplement you're taking. So if you need to take some form of aminos, then you can get coconut amino, and they come in small bottles. You can get them off the shelf in the supermarket in some places, coconut aminos, or you can take your normal amino acid tablets. That's fine. You can take the powdered form, drink that with water as long as there's no sugar in that. But don't take. I wouldn't recommend breaking a fast unless you've just been training. If you like something I used to do, Paul, I used to train just before I'd finish my fast.
Yeah.
So I've been fasting for 17 hours. I'd have a 45-minute to an hour workout, and then I would have a protein shake off straight after that. But my protein shake would be nutrient dense. Protein shake would have like a smoothie. Yeah, it wouldn't just be the powder.
But what they also mentioned was the obviously the fat soluble vitamins such as A, D, and E, don't they? But what they suggest is by all means take them, but take them with meals.
And omega, you can take omega capsules.
Yeah,
as well.
omega as well. So as long as it's good quality omega, has to be good quality.
Got to be good quality omega.
Absolutely.
What good quality omega looks like, speak to Paul and I. We'll tell you.
So can I work out while fasting?
Yeah.
And the answer is yes. Yeah. Now, have you heard of BCAAs?
Yeah, branched chain amino acids. Yes, BCAAs.
And that's what you were referring to, was it?
Yes.
Right, okay. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. Will fasting cause muscle loss?
It can. It depends. It depends on your nutrition that you're taking in. Typically, most people will lose some percentage of muscle mass through fasting, but it doesn't necessarily last long term either. It's not like the longer you keep fasting, the more muscle you're going to lose.
Well, they say it causes less muscle wastage than actually watching your calories. I think that was what he said.
Yeah. So what will happen is the body will reverse. The body will change. So in the beginning of the fast, you're going to obviously start losing a lot of water. You're going to lose fat, and then you're going to be losing some form of muscle density as well because your body's kind of going into a state of shock. All right. Yeah. And then as your body adapts to that, you can then continue, building muscle or maintaining muscle, whatever your goal is. But yeah, if you're training. So even if you're not training, it will come to a point where that muscle loss won't. As long as you're eating good quality food, this is the trick. If you're just eating mac and cheese and double whoppers and KFC buckets, or you're eating takeaway food all the time and Chinese and whatever needs foods, then it's not going to benefit you. Then you will definitely lose muscle. If exercise is still happening, will muscle loss still happen?
Yeah.
If exercise is still happening, will muscle loss still happen? No, was that the question that Rosie that you were answering or not?
Not really. No. I've only just gone back to the questions. So, you've just really answered that one. I must admit, I do like the one about the apple juice, warm water, and apple cider vinegar.
Lemon juice.
Sorry, lemon juice. Sorry.
Yeah.
Lemon juice. That appeals to me actually. Yeah, definitely. Now, another question. Can we let kids go fast on a fasting thing?
Look, in some cultures, kids fast. Like for example, during Ramadan, kids are fasting during Ramadan. That's a whole day, from sunrise to sunset. So yeah, you can. Kids can fast. But
I suppose also they get used to it as being part of their way of life.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, do you think it would be a good idea for, let's say, a Western child to fast?
No, I mean, unless there's a specific goal in mind, like cleansing the system, perhaps, or if a child needs to lose fat, and if they're an obese kid or close to obesity, I don't know if I'd go down the road of fasting. It might be a little bit too much for them, psychologically speaking. Emotionally and psychologically, it might be a bit too much for most kids.
Okay.
But I did that myself with no one ever telling me. But I did it myself when I was 12 years old.
Yeah.
Because I mentioned to you before, I was always a chubby, overweight kid.
Oh, I can't believe that.
And I'd had enough of being overweight and being the brunt of all the jokes and being teased and all bullied all my life. So I'd had enough of that. And one summer summer holidays, it's December, November, just December holidays and all that, I just stopped eating altogether. I didn't have, only meal I had was dinner. Yeah. And I just stopped eating and I just ate my dinner and that was it. And I lost a lot of weight those holidays. But yeah, it didn't last for too long. But at that time, that's what I was doing. I was fasting the whole day. And it was probably about a month as well.
So what about, okay, so I don't want to go on forever because obviously, I know people's attention span, and I know mine is it goes after a little while. So
I've got to get to some clients in a moment. So yeah.
Anyway, who shouldn't fast?
Now
this is quite important, actually.
It is. Well, I mean, people with certain preconditions. I wouldn't recommend diabetics fasting, and type 2 diabetes, I guess you could if it was in a controlled circumstances. But if you're insulin dependent, then I wouldn't go down that road.
Okay. I mean, personally, what I would suggest is, really sit down and discuss it with your doctor.
Yeah, definitely.
Because, I mean, I mean, you've got to be really, really careful with some things. I think the other things I found were breastfeeding, pregnancy.
Yes.
It's not good ideas. If you were going to do something, you'd have to do it through a professional, because we know it's a very, very important time of a woman's life. Also for men and women, fertility. If you're that type of thing. So you've got to think very, very carefully about these things and be guided by the right people.
Even if you've got heart problems, you want to be careful with.
Yeah. So you'd need to speak to someone that really specialised in that, of course, because sometimes general practitioners may not know enough about it. I don't know. I mean, sometimes you have a fantastic doctor as your doctor, and they know virtually everything, or they're prepared to research it and things like that, and that's great. But I know some.
I met a 60-year-old in the park the other day. And we've seen each other almost every day when I'm training in the park. He comes walking or running past, and we always greet each other. And then he came over to have a conversation with me the other day, and we got talking. And he asked me, "What do I do here?" And I said, "I'm a trainer and a coach. I'm a trainer and a coach." And he goes, "Oh, okay." And then he started telling me about pain that he's got in the side and this and that. So I was giving him some tips on what he could do and some advice. And he asked me, he said, "Are you a doctor as well?" I said, no. I've been in this industry for so long that I know, I'm aware. I have a lot of knowledge in that sense, and experience, stuff that I've actually tried and used and done and worked with. So he was very shocked. He was like, "Wow."
So we're missing out one little group of people, aren't we? With the people that have got to think seriously about whether they intermittently fast or not. And that's the people who've had eating problems, bulimia, and what was the other one? What's the other one?
Anorexia.
Yeah. So again, it's you seriously got to think about it and be guided by a professional, because we don't want things kicking off again. So, but generally speaking, though, it's got a good rap, intermittent fasting, from everything I see. So it's something for you to as an individual? Think about.
Yeah.
You know, is it going to assist you? Is it going to be something you want to follow?
So, and as you touched on in the beginning, it helps simplify your life as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. And the other last thing was I found on my research that there were 3 types of fasting. I'm sure there's a lot more, but the ones that I found, one was called 16/8.
Mm-hmm. That's the first one I did.
Yeah, that was the one that appealed to me. 5/2. Yeah, I know, and it was doing. I'm not going to go into it. If you want to look it up, by all means. But and there was one other which I really can't remember. But the 16/8 one appealed to me. That really would fit in with my lifestyle. So,
well, the other one is the 18/6. So
yeah, I didn't see that one. I only saw the 16/8 one. So
on some days you end up fasting as long as 20 hours in the day. Yeah. And the moment you break that 18-hour barrier, your body just kicks in. It really kicks in, and it's almost like you get a rush, like a sometimes really. I mean, it's almost like you get like a kick in the backside. You get a kick in the arse. So you can actually feel, I'd feel my brain literally just like lighting up because of that, the chemical reactions that start going on in the body, which I'm not going to get into now. That's a different conversation altogether. But yeah.
Oh, we talk about ketosis and all that.
Or ketosis? No, I mean look, you because your body is so empty of fuel at that time, but it doesn't need food, essentially. Everything is free to do what it needs to do because your body is no longer digesting food and wasting energy on digestion. So your ability to have a clear state of mind, that fogginess disappears. Your ability to focus on what you're doing, it's so heightened. It's almost like you're in an ethereal state in some aspects. It's really it wakes you up. So it's ketosis is that's another as well. Okay. Anyway, I need to go. We need to go. I think
absolutely. And I hope it's been useful today. If you think it's been useful, please like the video and share it with someone you think might find it interesting. That'd be great. And show the love. And we'll see you on Wednesday when we do our entrepreneurial thing on successcafe.tv. And then we'll see you next Friday for HealthierLife.tv. So have a fantastic weekend, and we will be in touch soon.
Have a beautiful weekend, everybody. And Rosie, thank you for your engagement.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much.
All right. Bye-bye, everyone.